right mind in God with this wonderful news coming to us from our higher self in the form of Sri Sathya Sai Baba's teachings. Here's what Baba says. He says, your duty is to follow the 4 F's. Well, I know in these times, we could think of another word for that F because it's not looking good out there. And so people are getting pretty fed up. There's a word, fed up, right? So he said, your duty is to follow the 4 F's. And he said, and then you will win the love of God. In other words, you will feel the oneness with your true self. So he says, and we don't hear this word much, but he says, your conscience. Have you heard that word lately? I remember in a Bible study, I've told you I went to Bible school, the Mormon church. It was fun. And they always talked about your conscience, right? Well, we don't hear that often, but Baba says your conscience. It is your conscience, your duty. Your conscience is your master. What does your conscience say about what's going on out there? About the government, about everything. And, the Master Jesus tells us all throughout the Course, he said, listen, you've got to question every belief you hold. Every single one of them, good ones and not good ones. You have to question every belief. And pay attention to your conscience. He says, Baba, follow your conscience. Follow your conscience. What does your conscience say? There can be nothing more sacred than following the 4 injunctions. And he says the 4 F's are essential to achieving the goals of human life if you want to be the happy dreamer in the dream. You see, we have to do the work to be the happy dreamer in the dream. It's still a dream, but right now, when you're identified as the body and you're caught up, well, it's a nightmare. So we want to be the happy dreamer in the dream. So Baba says your conscience is your guide and it should dictate your behavior. So some people's conscience are telling them to protest. Is it wrong? If you're spiritual, is it wrong to protest? Not if your conscience tells you. Is it wrong to stand in your sovereignty? Never. We have become aliens to our sovereignty, to our conscience, and we're following the puppet masters that live in secret societies in your own root chakra. This world, ideas don't leave their source, remember? So what we're seeing out there is a reflection of our own shadow, big time, and we call it secret societies, and we want to blame it there. My goodness, Baba says, no, follow your conscience and don't care about out here. What does your conscience say? He says, it should dictate your behavior, whatever that is. Sometimes, when Arjuna was on the battlefield, Krishna said, you got to fight. You got to fight. What are you fighting for? Truth. You're fighting for truth. Or are you going to lay down? Are you going to lay down and just be that alien running around, scared on that timeline? Past and future, waiting for someone to tell you what to do, where to go, what to say. Are you waiting for someone to tell you what to do, where to go, and what to say? If you are, you're not sovereign. And you're not listening to the deepest conscience that's in you. And that requires courage, and it requires working with your higher power. You cannot do this, guys, without prayer. You cannot. This is it. This is God's time. And Baba's letting us know this conscience of yours, which comes from God, you need to listen to it and let it dictate your behavior, not the puppet master. That's the memory implants from you living lifetimes on a timeline of fear. He says, it is your conscience that is responsible. The guilt in you causes the bad. Of course. The guilt in you comes from identifying as a body. The minute you protect this and you put a defense, I got to defend my position, what you're saying is, I can be attacked. I can be hurt. I can be, I got to defend. So identified with the unreal. And remember, in the beginning of this book, Jesus says, only love is real. The unreal, which is fear, alien world, doesn't exist. Ideas leave not their source. As you think, you will see. So you can't, do anything here. But if you change your mind, then wow. The guilt in you causes the bad. The strength and confidence in you, therefore, do such things that will promote your confidence in your own self. Have you ever stood up for yourself? Have you ever stood up for your rights, for truth? And you feel even taller, like Akhenaten. When I saw Akhenaten in the Egyptian museum, my goodness, I think he's like 10, 11 feet tall. Whoa, he's just a stream of love light, pure, raw power of God. And when you stand in that truth, you gain confidence. When you say no to the puppet master who's been ruling your life because you've been implanted, like chips implanted in the unconscious mind with fear coming from your mom, your dad, your whoever, the government, your grandma, the teachers, the priests, the whatever, for lifetimes, they're all implants. The program in your matrix, and it's in your unconscious that you project out, and now you see images that scare you. What if we all stood together in our sovereignty? We would shine away the darkness. But what are you going to do? Lay down on the couch? Just watch Netflix and not care about your sovereignty? These are questions. Be willing to question everything you think, and everything you think you believe. Everything. And it is 180 degrees away from your sovereignty, your truth. Baba says, that is why I have told you on some occasions that you should follow the 4 F's. Follow the master. Follow the master. Not some guru on the street corner. No, the days of gurus are over. You are your own guru. You are the guru that you've been waiting for. That's been the old, I heard that in my hippie days. That in the new age, you're it. It is about being your I am presence so that you can experience a joyous life. Right now, not looking good. And are you willing to save your soul over your BMW or your condo or are you willing to be uncomfortable and be a little bit inconvenienced? Because it's more important to serve the light and to stand in truth. These are the deeper questions that we've got to ask ourselves. Oh yeah. Follow the master. And that is your conscience. It will tell you what to go. And Jesus is powerful. That I am presence is powerful. It doesn't mean like if you're guided by conscience that you're not going to do anything. You're just going to sit on your lotus pillow in meditation and be all holy and not think about anything else. No, when you're following your conscience, your heart will be broken wide open for the entire sonship. Because that is the return of the Holy Spirit. Look, I'm covered in Holy Spirits. Mm-hmm. Nice fabric, isn't it? Yeah. The Holy Spirit in your right mind and God will direct you. And maybe you're the one who's supposed to go and hold up the sign. I don't know. But follow the master. Follow the master. Fight. That's the next one. Sai Baba says, The second is face the devil. Who's the devil? Watiko, the ego. From that one tiny mad idea that you had in your mind, that you seemingly had in your mind, I wonder what it would be like not to be in the mind of God. Well, then you projected a whole matrix. You projected a whole world. The devil, there it is. And now we made it real, and now it's taking over. It's taking over, seemingly. Wow, face the devil. You have to look at the darkness. You have to see what's being done. It is a projection of what you want to be true. That's where the responsibility comes in. And the responsibility to change your mind. Maybe you're not one to go out there and hold up a signboard, but it is to hold it here and to allow that love light in your right mind to, the vibratory frequency of that love light is so strong that it goes out into the sonship, and it begins to knit together like-minded people that are forming communities. We could call them pyramids, rays of light everywhere. Communities holding the frequency of truth. Face the devil. Face it and say, you have no power over me. That stinking thinking thought, no, you have no power over me. I am standing here in my sovereignty and I'm saying to my Father, through prayer, listening and then following, being patient and trusting, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? I of myself have no mouth. I of myself have nothing to say. You will do everything through me as a sovereign being. That is my prayer. Then Baba says, the third of the 4 F's is to fight to the end. He didn't say lay down and watch Netflix and call it a day. He said fight to the end. Do not allow these implants, these memory chips that have been programmed into you for lifetimes by reptiles, sleeping minds that just keep the timeline going by teaching you false beliefs, implanting your little mind as a child with all the ways of how to be a good ego. This is a temporary pit stop. And Baba says you got to fight to the end. Do not delay. Look at those fear-based thoughts that enter your mind and say no. Only love is real. See yourself in that light, protected and surrounded. Follow the master. Follow the conscience, which is your master. Then Baba says, and then you should finish the game. Not die. Not die. There is no death. You finish the attachments. You're done living from fear. You are now walking on that timeline, that little alien that's on that matrix, that blip now. You walk that timeline while you're here like an angel. You're done with the game, which means now you can enjoy the game because you know it's not real. Right now, you think it's real. And now it's because of the memory in your unconscious. All those implants that are in the programming and all the images that you see in your world, you've made them all real. and it's costing you joy. So Baba says, finish the game. You should finish the game. Be done with it. Learn to walk as light, as a sovereign being, knowing that this world is not real. And once you know it's not real, you can be used by Spirit in powerful ways. Yeah. So then he says, if you remember these 4 injunctions and keep remembering them so that they are resounding every moment in you, there can be nothing more sacred than this in your life. So thank you, Baba. Om Sai Ram.